how I figured out Jezebel was at play in Italy when I was on this tour, and how exactly you can tell she's in a man's life based on certain things. Here we go, guys. Welcome to part 4. I've been doing this whole series, getting everything off my chest about what was going down in Italy because I've been holding it in. And I've been realizing that part of my frustration in life is just that I'm just holding so much back because of just the potential backlash of doing things. And you know what? To hell with it. Check out the first part if you want to know why I'm doing all of this and a more in-depth explanation of what I just said in the last 30 seconds. Check out the first part. The second part where I tell you about the first 2 years and everything that went down that I haven't been telling you guys. Check out the last part when I tell you about the real Jezebel that we were supposed to be worrying about all along, that other people were too distracted, focused on other things, and how difficult it was for me as a believer trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. And welcome to part 4, where I'm going to tell you how I figured out it was Jezebel, because unfortunately for me, it didn't click who exactly it was until I arrived in the United Kingdom back. Now, let's just continue as if you've listened to the other videos, right? So I was this whole time was getting frustrated, like, with the fact that I just don't know. Like, I don't know if I should make this all one long series with all my videos of Italy, first year, second year, third year, and then all these intertwined videos in there, shouldn't I? I probably should. Anyway, I couldn't pinpoint a name. This is what was bothering me. So I got to a point where I realized, look, I'm convinced now. It's the third year I've been here. I've been all over the country with you people. I've seen it all. I've observed. I can see for myself. And every year, obviously, I'm still with the Lord in between, and my strength, my faith, and everything is growing. My discernment. So I'm coming back, and I'm sure, and then I'm sure, and I'm surer. At this point, I'm just like, I need a name, because I need, like, it's like with, even now when I'm interacting with demons, I always try to find the name or name them, because you need to name it, like, in order to remove it. Like, what is it? Because I can't just say whatever demon. I'm like, what is the name of this entity? Because then we can understand. And as soon as you have a name, you can, like, unpack it. So that's why at this point, I was like, I know there's some kind of feminine entity, demonic entity at play here. I can tell it's a gargantuan giant one. What is the name? Like, all I need to figure out is this thing's name. And I don't know why it didn't stick out to me that it was going to have to be Jezebel, but of course it was Jezebel. Now, I realized that once I got off the airplane. I'm going to tell you guys how I figured it out. So like I said, first of all, here are the signs. You have a woman, and you have a man who has a woman or some women, because sometimes it can be a group. It can almost be like a coven. I feel like this is like the Kardashian effect of, like, when you go into the Kardashian household as a man, you're dealing, like, you're in that scenario. You're in the scenario where there's a whole bunch of Jezebelic spirits, which I want to clarify again. Jezebel is not a sexual spirit. She just uses the spirit of lust as a tool. Her herself is very different to that. I can tell you that because anyone who knows about women truly knows that there is no enjoyment for us as women of just massively having sex with a whole bunch of people. There's no enjoyment in that, because that's just not how we operate at all. So when people think that any woman who behaves like that is just loving it, she's not. She's probably loving the power. That's the point. And that's the bit that I don't think that registers with men a lot of the time, is that it's not about the thing. It's about the power. It's the power aspect. It's about having you in a weakened state. It's about having control over you. It's about disarming you. It's not about, oh my gosh, I just want to have every single guy inside of me. No. It's just that can be the tool to reel people in, right? But it's not what's really happening. And that's why even myself, I'm like, I at least respect the girls out there who realize that and monetize themselves. The girls I don't understand are the ones who are broke, going around with the riffraff for nothing. I'm not saying that I think people should do that, like, by the way, sell their bodies, but I'm just saying at least I get it. In this day and age, look at where my life is at, and I'm here teaching the kids, and look at them. They realize their power. So all they have to do is be enthusiastic, smile, look good, and they're filthy freaking rich. Literally. So one of the things that you'll notice is the first things that you'll notice is the protectiveness of it. Like, kind of keeping you away from other people, like, or putting you at odds with other women or the people at large. So it's usually either convincing you that you're like a hazard to everybody else, and so you should keep yourself away from everybody else, but then, like, she can handle you. It could be calling out and telling you that somebody in your life is probably the actual angel in your life, or one of the angels in your life, calling them the Jezebel, right? Calling them the Jezebel, like, oh, that person, I don't know. This is what I'm saying. It's tricky for the men, because like an angel and a witch, right, will do the same things for opposite reasons, right? As a woman, right? They'll look after you and whatever. A witch will do it so they can take advantage of you. An angel will do it because she loves you, right? You never know. Like, just like how an angel might tell you, I don't know about that person because they're spotting a Jezebel. And a Jezebel might tell you, I don't know about that person because they're spotting an angel. Ha! So this is where it all becomes, and I say, the only solution to all of this is you have to be anchored in Christ, and you have to be like in submission to Jesus Christ. That's the only solution, because then the Holy Spirit will be there. Then you'll have discernment. Okay. So the thing about that. So here's how. So where was I going? So I got distracted by a thought. So I'm noticing this. Like, she's gatekeeping the guy. And it's almost like what people do with these what do we call them? These cults that we all be watching about and talking about. You know, like how when you have the cult leaders or whoever, they'll like kind of hide people away from hearing outside information in order to keep control. They kind of do that. It's like, you don't need to hear from so-and-so. You don't need to be around so-and-so. Like, what about us? And a lot of times they'll mask it behind, like, in this case, they've got a business relationship as far as I know. I don't know. Maybe they're secretly sleeping together for all I know. But in other situations, it'll be that whole thing of like, but I'm just so like in love with you and I just want to be just us. Like, do we have to go to your family's house? Like, I just want to spend it between us. Although, to be honest with you, again, this could be for multiple reasons, or like, you know, I just don't really like such and such. You know, it's the isolation aspect. Right? So that's another thing. And blocking other people off, because it's like, if you get to know other people, they'll usually hide it, because in like, I'm just protecting you because you're obviously this big, like in his case, I reckon it's probably, you're this big superstar. Don't worry. I'm going to make sure that everything is done for you. I won't let anybody come, because you know what, because then they'll remind you how they'll tell you their play. Being somebody like you, people could just take advantage of you. Oh my gosh. So I know a story of exactly this, right? And I'm not going to say whose story it is, right? But it's somebody that I know personally, right? Not related to or anything. And they told me this story about their own life, ironically speaking. So this person's parents, right? Their dad had already had kids before they met this person's mum, right? Now, this person's mum was, at least at the time, a very good woman. And, you know, she's the kind of woman that, like, everything I was ever told about this woman, I'm like, she's like the type of woman I aspire to be like, right? Now, this guy's and the guy who'd had all the kids and now gets with this woman to then come together to create the child of this person. Let's call this person, for all intents and purposes, Tom. So Tom's parents, right? So Tom's parents, like I said, his dad has had a few kids before with different women, then meets Tom's mum, and they now have Tom. Okay. Now, Tom's dad had got into a very severe accident and had made a whole bunch of money because he'd basically been crushed between some pretty insane machinery, and it caused him to have to get like serious surgeries and stuff. And so he got wealthy because he got paid big time, because of how severe the injuries were by the company. And I'm talking like the kind of wealth that sets you up for life. So now he's with this new woman, Tom's mum, and she says to him, hey, as what happens, because this is what people don't realize. This is why when guys on dates are out here just flaunting all their money and telling me spending, I'm like, you don't realize you're setting yourself up for a Jezebel, because now you're showing all your cards. You're showing all your cards right now. And if I wanted to take advantage, this would be the easiest way. Talking to me on the first day, talking about, oh yeah, well, we could go to Egypt next year. No, we can go. I want to go. Like, we can do this. But you're buying everything off the menu. I'm like, dude, like this isn't what you want to do. This isn't wise. And I tell them, it goes over their heads because they're lost in the sauce. But I tell them. Anyway, so, you know, he's there like, so Tom's mom's like, this is great. You can set up like some funds for your kids, like all of your children that you've had for the future. You've got enough money to set you up for life, yada, 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 right? One of his other baby mothers, right, chimes in to him and gets in his ear and convinces him, oh, she just wants to take the money for herself, which, how did we get there? But of course, he's a man. And of course, the Jezebels are always the really convincing ones, because when you're not a Jezebel, you just talk to people normally. You're just honest and earnest. You don't overdo your interest to try and be more convincing, which is what the Jezebel would do. They'll overdo their interest. They'll be overly enthusiastic. They'll be all overly agreeable, right? In order to ensnare you. Whereas if you're not, you'll just be a measurable level, because it's like, especially when it comes to things like dating, why am I going to be head over heels from the beginning and falling out? I'm like, okay, it's nice to meet you. Like, let's all go away and think about it and maybe talk about this, maybe catch up again another time. I need to stew over what's happened and really think about what's been said and what's happened. You know what I mean? Not just like running at 100 miles, right? Which a lot of these Jezebels will do. So anyways, the long and short of this story of Tom and Tom's parents. Well, here's what happened. Tom and Tom's parents, they ended up not being together anymore. He ended up listening to this other baby mother woman, right? Tom's mum, she went off to live her own life with Tom, and, whatever else happened after that, not important for this story. Tom's dad went and squandered the money to the point that in his local area, they were reporting about it in the news about this guy, right? He went and just blew all the money within a couple of years. In his final years, right, because he's now dead, mind you. In his final years, the same media was then, I don't know if he was known. I think he had been known for what happened. In the same media, he was then found years later by himself, living in a shed in the back of somebody's house, right? At the back of somebody's house, and was looking for somewhere to live, right? Because he, and I saw it myself. I saw the articles myself. Like I said, this is somebody I know. And living in the back of a shed in somebody's house, like I think he'd had his leg amputated or something. I don't know. And it was looking dire situation, right? And now he was looking for somewhere to live because he was getting evicted from his little shed in the back of somebody's, like basically not their back of their house, but like the back of their property, like on their land. They were letting him stay in the shed, like out of sympathy, literally, which, oh, how the mighty have fallen. Yeah. Bro ends up being kicked out and then he was getting mocked on the media because people are like, oh, isn't this so-and-so who did such and such? And isn't this so-and-so that did such and such? The media and people were mocking him over social media and everything. And then he died. He died a loser. He had the opportunity to be with a good woman, right? Because I've evaluated this Tom's mother character because I've spoken with her. He had the opportunity to turn his life around. Yes, you've had all these kids and whatever. You're about to have another one. Pull it together, get it together. But the allure of this other woman and whoever's saying, oh, she's got your wrong intentions for you. She's got wrong intentions. And look how his life turned out. That's Jezebel for you. And that's what I'm saying. Hold on a minute. Can you guys really, really hear that? Hold on. I'm going to close it anyway. This is what I mean about, Jezebel's getting in somebody's ear and convincing them of something that's actually going to lead to their destruction. Because I also honestly believe that's what she does with a lot of these church leaders and whatever. Like, kind of getting in their ears with ideas, kind of whispering ideas into their ears. Because that's another thing I've noticed. Come to think of it, all the people who've ever been a Jezebel in my life, like women, they were always girls that used to whisper, right? Because like we'd be in a group setting and they would always be the one that would like go and like often whisper to their friend something, or like whisper to like a guy something while we're in a group setting. And it always used to throw me off because I'd be like, why would you be whispering in a group setting? That just seems so off because we're all here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I didn't overthink it because I didn't really care, which I should have. But also I was just like, well, why would you do that? Like, we're in a group setting, like we're all here. That's not very nice. I just didn't think it was very nice. You know what I mean? Anyway, so this is what I'm talking about. The little whispers, the little this, and then it's the wrong one. And then they'll make the people that are the right ones the enemy, which makes sense why us being there when we're like praying and we're praying for breakthroughs. And by this point, I wasn't even there for the singing at this stage anymore. I was there for the people that were there, and I was there for this man, like in particular, like we need to see, like, Lord, what do we need to do? And so that's what I noticed. That's another signal, right? I'm telling you guys stuff. Here's another one. Health. Your health deteriorating. Because you got to notice that whatever a good woman is supposed to bring into your life, a bad woman will bring the opposite. Okay? It's as simple as that. Like I said, you guys, there's two sides, there's two teams. So if you're going to be better off, better kept, better looked after, right, from a good woman, so like in this case, Tom's mother was the type of person who, you know, knew how to she's like the superwoman, in my opinion. She was like a superwoman based on what I heard. And I feel like the heartbreak of her losing Tom's dad is what turned her into what she eventually became, which wasn't very great, unfortunately. But where they started was good, you know. But like, you know, in order to like, if having a good woman in your life means that your life is better, your health is better, your mental state is better, then if you're experiencing the opposite, then hello. Like sometimes I hear guys say stuff about women, like, oh, they're so stressed, they're this stressed them out. And I'm just like, yes, relationships are stressful. Yes, you are going to, it is tough, but like, it's supposed to not be for the most part. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be enjoyable. So like, how is that not the sign? Like sometimes I think that as well when I hear guys say, oh, this woman, she put me through this and she did this and she did this. I was like, how is that not the sign? Because again, to give you an example of the health thing, as like I said, I noticed this guy in Italy. I noticed the last time I saw him, I was like, he's not doing good. And why does she look amazing? Because it's like the blood sucking. It's like the spirit sucking power. They're sucking the goodness out of you almost, right? They're sucking your life force out. So she's looking younger. She's looking vibrant. She's looking whatever. And he's like struggling. He's like, you know, and you know, the argument she would obviously say to people if somebody said something is, oh, well, it's because he's getting older. See, there's always a reason. There's always a manipulation happening, right? And I was very impressed by this one guy, right, who I was talking to because he he messaged me, he DM'd me on Instagram. And we were talking about his experiences, which we weren't talking in a dating aspect, by the way. He did start going there. And this is again where I was thinking men are just not really very smart, you know, because this is what happened, right? So I comment on something. This is why you never catch me commenting on things on Instagram anymore. I don't even look at, I don't even have the app downloaded on my phone at the moment. I check it once every couple of weeks. So I commented on something and then he messages me to talk about it. And it was all something to do with, you know, godliness and like, you know, demonic powers actually, specifically. And so I was like, oh, this is cool. So we're just having a conversation, right? This is where I think that, you know, men are just so strange. So we're talking about this, we're having a back and forth. It's like, hey, I saw you commented about this. I'd like to talk about that because I had an experience with a woman who I think was doing this type of witchcraft on me and it was making me sick. And I was like, I was impressed that a man had that degree of discernment to realize that it was because of her that he was getting unwell. Because again, Jezebel knows very well how to hide herself. You'll just be the doctor telling you, oh, you've been diagnosed with this, diagnosed with that. Little do you know, you remove that woman out of your life and it's gone. And that's exactly what happened with him. It's like as soon as she was out of my life, my health went back to normal. And I was fine. I don't know what she was doing. I don't know whatever. It could just be her energy, but it was draining him and he was getting unwell, like really unwell. And he was like, and it was really, really bad, which I couldn't believe it because I was like, you look like in very good shape. Like you're very, you know what I mean? Whatever. I can't believe that you were going through that. It doesn't ever seem like you could have been through anything that extreme based on like what I'm seeing in front of me. But obviously that's because he's on the other side now and he's come through it. But then again, and then after this, in the midst of all this conversation, he's like, I hope, and then he goes to me, and this is when I was like, men are just not very smart, are they, at all? Always putting all their cards out, right? He's like, and I hope you're not going to hurt me like she did. So I was like, oh gosh. So we've just been having conversations about the demonic spirits and all this, and now you're telling me that we're now entered into that category now of where this conversation is going. So I was just like, oh my gosh, we can't do this. And I was very clear about my thoughts or whatever. I was just like, look, this is just, and it's also too much. Like you're doing too much. You're overwhelming me now because now it's like I have to make a decision and I'm not prepared to make. I barely even know you. Like that's the other thing. Can I just say that while we're here? How am I supposed to be telling you like, oh, I'm interested, I'm not interested, whatever? I don't even know you. How am I supposed to know? And we're not like you. I'm not just going to go off of like a quick first little impression and how I look or whatever. I need to get to know your character. How do I know? So now you'll put the pressure on me. Like, I hope you don't hurt me like she does. So I'm like, well, now I don't want to talk to you at all because I don't want to now hurt you or you to be hurt if you're like all catching feelings. Like, oh my gosh, they catch feelings so fast. It's a joke. So fast. Anyway, health. So when I saw this happening, that was the nail in the coffin, I think, for me with this whole situation when I was like, the deterioration of health. You know what I mean? And them thriving, because again, we see that with Jezebel in the Bible. Like Jezebel in the Bible, there's Ahab and Jezebel, obviously, and Ahab's the one who's the king, and they kind of get married on some kind of like, it's kind of really like a business deal, kind of trade deal, kind of marriage kind of thing. And once I forget again, Ahab ends up dead, but Jezebel's still very much alive and kicking all the way into 2 Kings, at which point we finally see her. When she dies, she was all there sitting on the freaking balcony doing her makeup, adorning herself, feeling vibrant and gorgeous. And then it took Jehu to come in to deal with her. So she's very, and this is the other thing, they very much always thrive because they're just going to find another victim. They're never going to be spotted. They just find another victim. And it's all about themselves and whatever they're trying to achieve for themselves. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, once they see that you've got a nice, well-meaning, that's why I really believe it's possible. Because like I said, this guy, this thing, he's so sweet. He's so sweet. He's a really nice, good man. Very, very nice man. Very, very, you know, whatever. And you can tell that, like, everybody who's there on the production team, in his band, every person, except from maybe such individual, is there and is working the way they are out of pure respect for the man. Like, even myself, it's the respect. It's like, you just respect him so highly that you want to give it your best. You want to give it your all. You want to follow his direction. You want to help him realize his dream of what he's doing. Right? Because it's like, he's just such a man of such good character that you want to. And there's just so much respect in the room. I'm watching like world-class, you know, musicians are so comfortable. You know, they're with this guy in Italy who's not necessarily as known in the West, but is obviously known because he's been touring all over the world, right? And they've been with people that are like more globally known, but they're just happy to spend this entirety of this whole 5 years with him. It just goes to show a lot about him as a person. You know what I mean? That people are willing to actually give up that length of time just to stay on his tour. They don't have to be there. I think that's so commendable. There, but then also because of those same characteristics, it makes him the perfect, you know, victim for a Jezebel, right? Who wants to swoop in and have some kind of control over everything and have some kind of, and be the one who holds the keys to the gate. The only one, because I noticed that this person would be like the only one with unlimited access to this guy as well. Everybody else that was like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this. And you know, like when you get told something, but you can tell it didn't come from the horse's mouth. It's like when I was saying about how the first year we were trying to figure out like, oh, is it because we can feel like something doesn't want us here. We assumed it was him at first. Then as time went on, it was very clear that he definitely really wanted us there because he was going out of his way. Like I said, he's going out of his way to pay on his own birthday out of his own money for us to be there. Which means obviously there had to have been discussions, this is the final nail in the coffin for me. It's like where he must have been like, okay, I want those people to be there. Like in the meetings, like, oh, well, he was probably told, oh, we can't afford it, which I don't agree. I don't believe at all. I do not believe for a second, by the way. And then so he's like, okay, fine. If we can't afford it, then I'll just pay for it myself. Like I think what was trying to happen is whoever powers at play were trying to block the situation from happening. And probably him being like, okay, well, I'll pay for it anyways, and we'll do just one day, I think was like them just trying to allow the bare minimum, but they weren't really happy about it. Because like only one individual would kind of treat us like, I don't know, they were just very erratic and very like controlling, very micromanagery, and very like trying to kind of, I don't know how to describe the word. Almost like trying to catch you out. Like almost trying to catch you out for like anything to have a reason as to why you shouldn't be there. And I feel like that's where some of the tensions started to come as well throughout the years, where like there would be little things like, for example, you guys will know like when we were there, you know, we would be allowed to record things, but we just weren't allowed to post them like whilst before the shows, obviously. And so what this person would do and would like exacerbate the situation where it's like, oh, I saw people videoing. Guys, there's no social media until the shows. It's like, we know that. We all signed the contract. We all read the contracts. We all signed the contracts. We know that. Here's the funny idea. Sometimes people record things before they go online. We're just recording what's happening, you know what I mean? And I wasn't even doing the bulk of this type of recording. A lot of the recording I was doing was of myself, of the surroundings, not so much about what was happening anyway, because I could see that there was tension building, and it was so stupid. But again, I feel like it was the like just trying to find anything, like clutching at straws, trying to find anything at all to like have a problem with. Then it was like the costumes, like the outfits that we were wearing, and coming and nitpicking at the tiniest littles of things. Oh, well, yesterday we didn't like this, and today we didn't like this. I'm thinking, Zuko is a man. Do you think he's even noticed this? I don't think he's even noticing the things you're talking about. You know what I mean? The nitpicking of it all. Oh, we had a problem with at this and this time because of how this went down. We're going to change this so that this happened. And it's just like, you know, people that just have time to fuss around. I've realized that the most unhappy, like Jezebelic type of women, because they're so agitated by this demon inside of them, right? That they're the ones who are hyperfixate on every little detail. They hyperfixate. They're the type of women who get so upset when any type of smallest of crumb is in their kitchen. I'm like, look, let people live, okay? As long as we keep things tidy and clean for the most part, it's not that big of a deal. Like a lot of things, like it's like with people, like, you know, I see the women who cry about, like, you know, like yesterday, I saw some dumb story of some woman who was like, my 3-year-old and my 5-year-old were wrestling, and you know, whatever, and one 3-year-old came to say to me, like, you know, so sometimes, you know, I can't remember what the 3-year-old said, and she was like, and I just sat there crying because she was overwhelmed. I'm like, go in another room. Go in another room, they're kids. Let them do their play fighting. Make sure that it's safe enough. Tell them that they're not allowed to hurt each other. Or like what my mum used to say, I'm not taking you to A&E, although she always was the one taking me to A&E for everything. She's like, I'm not taking you to A&E, you know, and just go. No one's asking you to sit in the thick of it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, and also even when people are like, oh, hyperfixate about the perfectionist looking of their house. Don't move that there. Don't do this here. Don't do that. Dude, chill out. But I feel like a lot of these people, it's the pride, it's the Jezebelicness of it all, where they like, you know, not necessarily in the case of this mom I'm talking about, but I'm talking about when there's like, you're in unrest inside, you're agitated, so you're just, everything is agitating you. Because you see, the thing with me, guys, is I've grown up around a lot of things. I've grown up, you know, I've learned, like, you see when when people are like, oh, I need dead silence when I study. Listen, I grew up with my brothers, like, wrestling, and I was there sitting there with them wrestling in the background the whole time. You know, and then the football come and hit me in the face, in the back of the head. So what? You rise to the occasion. I lock in because, and I realize that a lot of things that people do, a lot of people's sensitivities is based on the demons that are inside of them. And so, like, this woman, the way that she's like fussing around, she's trying to keep control because she needs control, and she can feel there's like a threat to her control. So she's trying to like attack the thing that's a threat to her control. And now that I think about it, that kind of makes sense why I've been through a lot of the things I have been. And someone's trying to control me as the threat. Like, there's things being said about me before I've not even done anything, and I'm hearing stories about me. It's like, why did I even come up in your mind? And I guess it's because there's like, oh, there's a threat to my control here, and I'm like, I don't want control. Manipulation and control is witchcraft. I don't want control. I want everybody to be in freedom. It's like with me. If anybody's listening to me or following me or you know, going with what I'm saying or wanting to do what I'm saying to do, I want it to be because they respect me. They think I'm a woman of character, and they, in their freedom, in their free will, it's a choice they're making for themselves. I don't want it to be because of manipulation. I don't want it to be because of lying. I don't want it to be because of control. And I certainly do not want it to be because of fear. You know what I mean? I want them to be making a clear, sober-minded decision, all within their own free will, without me doing anything other than just being who I am and staying true to who I am. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, this is what these Jezebels do. Like I said, they'll be the manipulative ones. They'll play the part. They'll look whatever. Because think about how it looks to him when he's like, wow, she's really making sure every little thing is perfect. She's making sure every little tiny detail is perfect. She's so hardworking. I'm so glad to have her on my team. What would I do without her, right? When in reality, she's agitated at the thought of her getting dethroned, right? And she's doing all of this to maintain control over you and keep you under her spell. That's just my theory. Anyways, I've been talking forever. I feel like I've pretty much got everything I had to say off my chest with this whole Italy story arc thing. There's obviously so much more to bring to the table, but we won't do that today. We'll leave that there. I feel like we did good enough, and we did good enough here to kind of give you guys the impression of like just all this stuff that's been going down and all this stuff I've been thinking, because I'm just like, God, what the hell is going on here on this planet that I'm on? I don't get it, right? And these Jezebels are just running rampant, and I get it, like, and they're the ones in control. They really are. That's why you have the Kardashians clan moving on. They got another season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. They got another this. Kris Jenner with her billionaire banquet with Jeff Bezos and all of these people and all this stuff, yeah. And meanwhile, what is the state of all the guys? They were used, abused, and disposed of, as Jezebel does. Use, abuse, dispose. You're no use now. Yeah, we're kind of, yeah, he's crazy. Yeah, so-and-so is this. All the narratives of all these guys. And they maintain their little coven with a K. Right? They maintain their coven and their power. Because see, the thing with Jezebel, she's attractive to women who want power and control and who are male hungry. She's attractive because if you can be like her, then you can have those things. And a lot of women are boy crazy, so I've realized. And to guys, she's attractive because she's attractive. She's attractive. You know what I'm saying? Whether that be how she looks, whether that be how she behaves, whether that be how she treats you, she's attractive. So she'll reel you in like a siren. Right? Anyway, and isn't it fascinating that we believe, isn't it fascinating that Jezebel, technically you could argue, is the daughter of a siren? Because according to the book of Enoch, I think it was the book of Enoch, yeah. When the Lord, I think the women were turned into sirens. Where did I hear that? I need to go back on that. Maybe that's what I should go back on to look at, because I could have sworn it said that then the women who had children with the angels became sirens. Because remember, Jezebel's obviously a disembodied spirit, so she's obviously a child of the Watcher angels coming together with the women. So, I got it from my mama. Anyway, if life's a game, let's play to win. It's all going to be linked in the description box below somehow. I don't know how yet. I just knew I needed to get all of this off my chest while I had the time. But yeah, that's that, guys. I pretty much said all I needed to say anyways about all this Italy stuff, and I just don't know if this was, I don't know what I needed to get off my chest. And honestly, I feel so much better saying so many things, because so much of this was just holding back and just holding in and just dealing with by myself between me and God. And I was just like, God, must I always be alone in this? When are there gonna be people taking this stuff seriously enough? Like, seriously, because I really feel like if I had even just one real ally in the midst of all of this, like, stuff going down, it would have worked. It would have, I would have been able to do something. And that's why I just feel like, what's the point in relationships in this life anyway? All we do is the fun stuff. And when it comes down to it, being like Christ and actually doing the work, now we're second guessing things. Now we're brushing things off. Like I said, the others were like, oh, we've done all we can do. What do you mean we've done all we can do? There's a man in distress. We have a reason to be there. We can go to war for this. We can go to war for this. We can go to war for this man, like in the spiritual way, but it's just like, oh my gosh. And then when I wanted to go back, of course, I never made it back, did I? Because when I resolved within myself that I'm going to go and tell everybody, I'm going to say what I have to say. I'm going to address Jezebel by myself if I have to. I don't care. I'm going out all guns blazing. It's only a couple of days. I was only going to be there for like 3 days. I'm going. Right? As soon as that happened, then of course I didn't make it. Which part of it was my own fault. Like I said, I should have been more prepared. But also, I was happy because I was like, you know what? I was going in alone again anyway. So maybe this time it was better to have had the lesson and lesson learned. So probably stew on that, and maybe I'll circle back at some point to come and give a debrief thoughts of everything that I've just said now. But yeah, that's what was really going down. When I was just on here making videos. And that was the other thing. It made me laugh because somebody made such a snide comment to me about like being, like how we're always on our phones and stuff, and like, oh, you went to bed, you must have slept well. Like one person, the older generation said, oh, you must have slept so well because I was up all night doing whatever, like, and whatever, I had to organize this. And I was like, oh, okay. And and the funny thing was, I was like, I just keep silent again. I was thinking, after all of this, after we still went out or whatever, I came back into my hotel room and I spent 3 to 4 hours editing the videos from today of everything that happened today and uploading it. And I woke up and I've had 3 hours of sleep, and I've done that every single day the last 7 days. But then it's the comment of, oh, it's nice, when you're young and you don't have to do anything. It's like, If only you knew. If only you knew that despite all of this, I'm still going back. And while I'm like, I remember one night I literally I fell asleep editing. Excuse me. It was like 4 a.m. I fell asleep editing, and then I woke up, and thankfully I only had 15 minutes left of the video left, and it was one of these really long ones. And so this is when people looking at me on my phone, because I was rushing. I was trying so hard. It was the day I went to Rome. And little did I know that I was about to go to the Colosseum. So I was trying to get the video to upload, right? And I was also trying to make the thumbnail. And I was trying to make sure that the video was uploaded so I could delete the footage, so I'd have extra footage. I would have more storage for the day because there's so much footage, right? Yeah. Anyway. People are like, oh, look at you people on your phone just doing nothing. I'm like, you don't realize I'm working here. I'm playing my part in the group project. Respectfully, more than you are right now. And you're ridiculing me. Ain't that funny? Life's a game, it's played to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.